welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back to the channel, guys. And of course today we are going to be moving quite swiftly on from the goalless draw against Galatasaray at the Camp Nou because I want to talk about some important news. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the full situation surrounding Ronald Araujo and the contract talks that are currently going on with the club. We're going to be talking about the stance from both sides in terms of the player and indeed the club, and when exactly we can expect some sort of solution. We're also going to be discussing Andreas Christensen as Barça close in on that deal, and especially as well how that may be playing a part in these Araujo talks. It is all coming up today. There's lots to get through. So let's do it. Because indeed, Araujo was in the starting lineup once again, as he has been over these past few months, a driving force at the heart of our defence. But intriguingly yesterday, he was subbed off at half-time, which I was very, very surprised about. When I saw that he was the name that was departing there to make way for PK in the second half, I was first of all worried that Araujo may be injured, that it could be some sort of injury problem. So I was relieved to find out afterwards from Xavi that it was only a technical decision. But that's interesting, because after the game, Xavi did say Araujo didn't understand the game with the ball today. He said he needs to know when he has the ball, he should wait until the opponent approaches him, then he has to find the free player. He said these are the kind of habits that you need to learn at Barça, and they are not easy. And that was very, very interesting to hear that there, because I think that is the one feeling from inside the club, and indeed I would say us fans too, that in Araujo you have got a tremendous defender, you have so much good there, and there are so many qualities that could take him to the very, very top. But I think in order to do that at Barça, that was the one area that we need him to improve upon. The work he does with the ball at his feet, playing at the back, how he helps us, of course, in our build-up. And that is the one area that I think from Xavi's side, he wants him to improve upon. I think those words, by the way, they're not designed to hurt Araujo. He wasn't blaming him. He wasn't putting anything on him for yesterday's game. But he was simply explaining the decision, where he can improve. And I'm sure that every single day, Xavi is trying to help Araujo, trying to develop his game, because even he himself has admitted in the past, I can do more. I can do better with the ball. That is an area that I am focusing on, and that is something to bear in mind. Because, obviously, over the past few days, there has been a lot of noise when it comes to Araujo and his contract situation. We all know that right now, Araujo is earning a very, very modest salary and has been for several seasons now, and in order to renew, he wants to feel valued by the club. Of course, he wants an increase on that, and I think we said on the channel many, many times before, he is very much within his rights to say, look, I think I've earned it, and I think he has. But right now, talks have been ongoing for several months. His contract is set to expire in 2023, so there's no immediate hurry, but I think we would like to get things wrapped up before he enters that final year. So by the summer, we want to get some sort of solution in place and resolve this contract issue. But I think everybody started to sort of panic a little bit and started to get a little bit jumpy when it comes to this situation, when it was reported earlier on this week that Araujo has rejected the first contract offer from Barça. Now that's the rumour. Obviously we don't have any official information on that, but it is believed that Araujo feels as though that first offer wasn't really at the amount that he was expecting, that his representative was expecting, and for that reason it has been knocked back for the time being. And that is why I did just want to discuss that in a bit more detail and sort of calm some nerves, because obviously in the background we all know there's a big, big offer waiting for Araujo from Man United. There's no secret whatsoever in that, and it is believed in the Spanish media that maybe Araujo's agent is using that United interest to just bump up the salary for his client, which is something, of course, that does happen in negotiations. And I think a lot of people are sort of sitting there right now looking at Araujo's performances this season, looking at his dedication, the way that he plays, his heart and soul is into every single game at this club. And there are many people who'll be sitting there screaming, pay the guy whatever he wants. Whatever Araujo is demanding from the club, whatever he's asking for, pay it and get him renewed. But what I would say on that is, we do have to be careful, because let's not forget that back in 2018, that's exactly what we did with Samuel Umtiti. We paid him exactly what he wanted, and look at the situation now. Now, I'm not saying that Araujo is going to follow that path. We all know what happened with Umtiti's physical condition, but I just want to say here, Bartomeu used that philosophy of pay them whatever they want, during his entire time as president. That is why our wage bill spiraled out of control. So I think right now you've got Mattia Almani, who has worked so hard here to get that wage bill back under control. That is why, no matter whether it's Araujo, even Gavi, of course, that contract still is taking a lot longer than we expected. I don't think any player here, we're just going to say, right, okay, have the money. It's not going to be like that anymore because we as a club cannot do that. We have to be very careful, we have to be very calculated, and that is why right now what we are seeing between the two parties is very much a negotiation. According to plenty of reports, Barca would like Araujo to be earning a similar wage to what Pedri is, who renewed at the club very recently. They believe they wouldn't like to go much over that kind of salary. But of course this is what goes on, especially when you've got a player of Araujo's quality, especially when you've got a club like Barca who is being a little bit more careful and is a little bit more restricted right now. You are going to have a negotiation from two sides and it is going to take some time. But guys, I wouldn't panic. I really wouldn't panic right now. I truly believe that Araujo wants to be here. You've seen him battle through and really soldier on in games this season. He's desperate to play for this club, play for the badge, and he wants to become a really big player and a big hero here. And I do believe that in the end, he will indeed sign that renewal. But it takes time on both sides. We just got to wait and see how it all resolves itself and trust in the club to get this deal done. But it's interesting because then we go on to talk about Andreas Christensen, because this is the other sort of element that's been added to this Araujo deal, because it's almost 100% guaranteed now that Christensen is going to be a Barca player next season. He is going to sign on a free transfer on a 5-year contract until 2027. And of course now, due to those sanctions that have been imposed on Chelsea, they find themselves extremely restricted. They can't even offer Christensen any new contract at all. And as Thomas Tuchel admitted very recently, they're aware of the rumours, they're hearing the links to Barca, but there's nothing really now that they can do about that. They've almost resigned themselves to losing Christensen, even though of course they wanted to keep him. But he is going to be heading to Barca. Now, apparently, Christensen will be signing on a lower salary than he was offered elsewhere in order to come and play at Barca. We've heard that with several players who signed at the club recently, and that's a great thing. Xavi apparently personally requested his signing. He was very much on board there, and he also explained the project and the idea of the club to Christensen before indeed that verbal agreement was reached. But you do just wonder here that in bringing in Christensen, in agreeing now that long-term deal, he's going to be earning, I'm sure, decent wages, nothing too crazy, but of course it's going to be an extra wage on the wage bill. And you can imagine in those Araujo negotiations, both sides are going to be trying to use that deal in their favour. Because I think you're going to have Araujo's side, and Araujo's representatives saying, look, you're finding the wages to bring in Christensen, you're bringing in another defender, you're paying him the money, where's our money? Where's the money that we are asking for right now? And then on Barca's side, they may use that deal a little bit differently. They may be saying, look, we're bringing in Christensen, we're bringing in here another defensive reinforcement so that we're not so overly reliant on Araujo, perhaps. That is why we feel as though this amount is satisfactory. And that's what I mean. Right now, there's lots going on. Plenty of different avenues that this negotiation is going down. And all that we have to do is trust in the club, trust in Araujo, that he wants to stay here and be a part of this club. Of course, we've got to give him a salary where he does feel valued. Because like I said before, he has earned that. But as Joan Laporta said very recently, if a player wants to stay at Barca, if a player wants to be here, of course, there may be a bit of sacrifice needed. But we've seen already with the renewals of Pedri, of Ansu, Nico staying here, that hopefully that desire and that will to be at this club and on this journey, this very exciting journey under Xavi, hopefully that will be enough. So please guys, do leave your thoughts in the comments down below, because I have been waiting for a suitable moment here to discuss this issue with you guys, because obviously there is going to be a little bit of panic, there is going to be a bit of unease. We'd all like this deal to have been wrapped up already now, but like I say, given our financial situation, given the fact now we are getting the club back on a good level financially, we do have to be careful, and these things are going to take time. Let me know your thoughts down below and how you see this deal being resolved. I will of course see you soon, because there's plenty more to come. Thank you indeed for watching and for supporting. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.